falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away, leave. Maybe we're a fan of the flame, so why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore.
here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
Just behind you, you're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices, I'll guide you. Give yourself all, but yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you all.
But he's gone wide! He's going incredible!
Take a chance and win, alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment. And every fire starts with a spark. A revolution. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment. And every fire starts with a spark. A revolution.
Feel like we're falling away.
Hello, and welcome back to FRLT season number 6, and it is time for round number 7 of the season, as you can see down in the title, and it is time for Monza. Yes, it is time for the lovely track of Monza, 5.793 kilometers, 3.599 miles, 11 turns, 2 DS zones down the pit straight and down that back straight after the second Lesmo. Looking at, of course, the calendar, we have gone through China, Austria, Imola, Great Britain, Australia, and we then had our Christmas break before heading to Singapore for round number 6. And this week, for the 7th round of the season, we come to Monza. And that is before we go to the great tracks of Brazil, Netherlands, Las Vegas, and Japan. We are waiting upon a couple of drivers for the moment, which is slightly disappointing because there are some game issues creeping in, which isn't great, quite annoying. I think we might be quite short on drivers this evening since some people are unable to get in. This game is so irritating. This game is so incredibly irritating. I've never been so annoyed by this game. So we do have 14 in. I've sent 2. I'm currently trying to do everything here. It's a bit annoying. Da 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 da. Okay, we are going to be probably a few minutes late because currently looking for drivers, which isn't great that I'm looking for drivers and cannot find them. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure this out because we've got 15 drivers in and there might be some EA issues. So I'm not... So yeah, so yeah, we are going through everything. Everybody's just... We've got 5 drivers who are having problems right now. A couple more are in. We've got a 16th, so that was Justy who's just joined. So only 4 drivers are struggling to get in, which is a strange one today. I must say it is very weird that today is the day that there's some problems with the game, which is just my luck, of course. My brilliant luck. Who are we missing? We're missing 4 drivers right now. And I am trying to invite them. Still. I'm still going to try. Trying to think. What can I do to get this to work? Yeah, sorry guys. This is just quite a strange problem that I don't get very often. It's a very odd issue that I've gotten here. And so I do apologise. I'm not sure why this isn't working. I'm really confused by this today because it was working on Wednesday. So I'm not sure why this isn't working today. It's a very weird day, I must say. It's just nothing's working. So yeah, so we've got 16 in. So we'll go in 2 minutes basically. So I will just tell everybody. Yeah, it's strange. It seems to be mostly the PlayStation. It 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 seems to be the PlayStation people who are struggling to get in. I will just say that it does seem to be. I'm trying to find everybody, but of course this game is having fun with me and just won't let me do what I need to do. But yeah. Yeah, we are. Let's see. Some people, there just seems to be quite a strange thing going on. But looking at the standings, these are the wrong standings, and I've changed the wrong thing. I do apologise. But yeah, it's seeming pretty strange. Yeah, so we've basically got almost everybody in. But as you can see from the standings, SET lead the championship by just a very small 5 points. With a P6, P9 finish last week, they lost a lot of points to Ventari, as Ventari got a double podium once again this season. But yeah, Ventari closed up a lot. OMB had a struggle last week, not taking a lot of points, only pulling themselves up to 96 points, while VRE closing a bit more with a P5, P14 finish. FCT with a great finish last week, best of the season, and that with a podium and a P4 finish is absolutely brilliant. Pulls themselves up into 5th in the Constructors. AZR as well were able to pull themselves up into 6th, while AERT dropped down to 7th in the standings. ESPL continue to stay 8th, while DLX are currently 9th, with XPG last in the championship. So at the moment, it's proving to be quite difficult. So it's quite interesting. The standings are looking very interesting this week. I do have to say they're looking very interesting nonetheless. So, finally, everybody's readying up since some teams decided they wanted to massively delay this evening. But, okay. Ethan, bro. Is it really quiet? Okay. That's strange. My mic should not be incredibly quiet. Oh, Daniel, bro. I'm actually gonna... Nah, bro. Nah. Like, just nah, bro. I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm not going to do that. Okay. That should be better. That should be a bit louder for everybody. It was just probably... So, everything should be fine now. Everything should be working. There should be no problems now, unless F1 doesn't want to come up on my screen, which it didn't for a while. I got a bit worried. So, now we're past that. We're past that major problem this evening. There are some problems with, I think it's the PlayStation servers and to do with FIFA. So I don't think it's entirely EA because PC was able to join quite easily, and a couple of PlayStation drivers joined quite early as well. And Caden has finally joined. So we should be good to go in the next few moments, if the game does go. And we are in. We should have the full grid as well, which is even better that we have a full grid this evening. As you can see, 19 drivers. Caden is going to hopefully join in, so AERT are fully in. So let's have a look across the grid as Ryan leaves pro. Bro, this game is so painful. I don't know why this game just doesn't seem to work. It actually, like, it's painful with this game. I'm gonna be completely honest. This game is so ridiculously painful. I cannot believe it. Somebody's somehow been kicked. I don't even know how. I don't even know. I can't even answer that. But the first driver out on track is Manolo for XPG. They've only scored 4 points now in the last couple of races. They do need to do quite a bit. 9 points is what they need to gain to equal 9th in the Constructors. So this week is very important. They've had the highest retirement rate out of any team. But I think this is going to be a very interesting race, to be honest, this evening. We saw an assist. It was incredibly interesting and it was very strange what we saw on... it was very interesting to see what we saw on Wednesday. But we got the first lap to get going, so let's ride on board with XPG Manolo as he makes his way to start off his lap and to start the first lap of tonight's qualifying session. As you can see, it is set to midday just to help the drivers slightly with vision. And now on the brakes hard into turn 1. Through turn 1, turn 2, taking quite a nice line there, not taking a lot of curve, just focusing on getting through the first chicane without a problem. So far Manolo's looking pretty clean. I don't think it's going to be the quickest first sector we've seen, but it's going to be a 25.8 for that middle sector, bumping over the sausage curbs there. Didn't look too comfortable for Manolo, so maybe the half's proving to be a little bit troublesome over some areas, but through the first Lesmo, very nice. Let's see, can he hook up the second Lesmo? Yes, he can, not running too wide, keeping it quite safe, making sure that at least he can finish the lap. As now he makes his way down towards the end of the middle sector. It's going to be a 52.0 for the middle sector, and through the left, through the right, and through the left again. As now he makes his way down the back straight. He's used up a lot of his battery. As now he just tries everything he can, going over 200 miles per hour as he reaches the final corner. Through the final corner he goes. He doesn't save a lot of battery, but he's going to use every little bit of the battery that he's got. And up to line, Manolo is going to set a 1 minute 18.476 for the first lap of the evening. That's beaten by Marcos Guerrero, who goes to an 18.153. Hello, Sabuka. Welcome to the stream. As we see, Antonio Jesus goes also to an 18.4. So we're seeing a couple of drivers sort of being around that lap time as well. Zach Miles has invalidated his run on his lap, so that's going to be a lot of disappointment for himself. Here comes Steve, heading round the final corner now, as he now makes his way down towards the finish line. Let's see what he could do when he crosses the line. He's going to stay in P17, as he sadly invalidated his lap, but we're going to see a couple more drivers. Maxime Wendler comes across the line in P2, 18.2, not being able to beat the ESPL driver yet. Gabriel Moya then beats that by quite a bit to a 17.726 with provisional pole. Robin Langenbush follows with a 17.8. Zozo with a 17.9. And there goes Josh Hood into P5 with an 18.1. And then Car Potter with an 18.0 there. There goes Alberto, slowest of all, though, with an 18.7. So not the perfect lap that he would have been hoping for. As we see, Caden is making his way round the track. I'm looking to see who is next to cross the line. And it is going to be Justin. He's making his way round and coming up to the line. And across the line he goes. It's going to be P6 just behind his teammate. I know, Swifty, man. I don't know what is wrong with this game. I don't know. I've tried to re-invite you, but the menu just isn't showing you as online, so I can't actually invite you, which is so annoying, man. I'm sorry. Try to get Caden to invite you. Yeah, I am sorry, man. It's just like, I don't know how 19 people have gotten in and no one else. But Schumacher across the line. He goes to a 17.9 and into P4 he goes. So with, I have to say, quite a strong lap time there from himself. And really pulls everybody up, really pulls himself back up into contention. So I'll go through all of the teams. I'll go through all the teams and who they are. So, from the top of the list, FCT in the Sauber. Yes, FCT are in that brightly green-coloured car. You can't see it because they're not out on track. Then we have VRE, who are in the Red Bulls. They're in the Red Bulls tonight, and they've been in the Red Bulls all season. But the one issue they've got is that they have a double qualifying ban for this evening, so they're not going to be able to drive. Leggy comes across the line, and he goes to 1 minute 17.6, and that, I've got to say, is not bad for himself to jump Ventari in the grid. But as I was saying, Ventari are, of course, in the RBs with Zach Miles and Gabriel Moya. OMB are in the Alpines. Then we have AZR in the Williams. If there is a Williams out on track. No, there isn't. They are in the Williams. AERT are in the Mercedes. Then it is SET in the McLaren. And then it is ESPL in the Aston Martins, DLX in the Ferraris, and XPG in the Haas's. Yeah, I get you, Swifty. I get what you mean, man. I can't complain at you particularly. I can't say much. This game is interesting. Is, I think, probably the most appropriate word for it. But Zach Miles making his way round to end off his first sector. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 25.7, and that is quickest of all so far. We know that Manolo set, I think, a 26.1, and he's on an 18.4. So this is, at the moment, looking like he's probably going to be about P9 as he would sit in the grid. There's not a lot of corners to the middle sector. Only 4 corners altogether to the middle sector, 4 proper corners, if we exclude the kink. Now, heading down, It's going to be a 51.7, so he's about 4/10 quicker still than Manolo, but he needs to find time in this final sector. It's mostly battery. A lot of drivers struggle for battery once they reach the final sector. And, you know, we saw it with Manolo, and I think he probably lost about at least quarter of a second from low battery. But let's see, what does Zach Miles do when he comes across the line? It's going to be a 1 minute 17.9. 1 minute 17.9, and goes 1,000th of a second quicker than Zozo. So incredibly close there. Marcos Guerrero has invalidated his lap, and he was actually improving in his first sector as well. I think we've got Antonio, who's making his way round next. He's improved by about a 10th in his first sector. Let's see what he does in his middle sector. He's improved by, oh my god, 3.5 tenths in that middle sector. That's going to send him quite a bit further up the grid. That's going to send him up to about P7. So really, quite a few drivers struggling to get in laps. We know that AERT have one qualifying ban. We know that also both VREs also have a qualifying ban. So 3 drivers can't drive, as Antonio goes to P7 to a 17.9. So he finds a bit more time in his lap as well. So that's exactly what he would have been looking for. So now we've got Noah Raza coming up to the line next. Do we have... It's Zozo up to the line after him. Then it is Zach Miles, who's, I think, coming into the pits. I do believe he's going to be on his way into the pits. And there's Just Hood. And then it's Maxime Wendler, who's making his way round the final corner to start his lap. Manolo is up next. Manolo's looking for a big improvement on his lap because he's in an 18.4, second slowest out on the grid. And across the line, he actually was a 10th slower on his latest run. So that's going to sting quite a bit. But Caden is on his lap as Ryan stays in the pits. So Caden's starting his lap now. Gabriel Moya has been on his lap. A lot of drivers currently out on track. We've got Marcos Guerrero, who's going for another run. We're waiting to see who crosses the line next, as Robin Langenbush crosses the line and goes fastest of all by 42 thousandths of a second as he goes to provisional pole. So SET really in the mix this evening as Alberto goes to P9. That's a solid position for himself. Noah Raza goes fastest of all to a 1 minute 17.427. We also saw Zozo gain some positions as I think he went just ahead of Zach Miles to a 17.788. So at the moment, some laps coming in good, some laps not going as well. Just Hood has invalidated on his lap and he's 9 thousandths of a second slower in the middle sector anyway. Maxime Wendler has also invalidated, but looks like it's going to be another run for himself. Look to everyone else. There's some... both XPGs come into the pit lane. They feel like that's enough for them. Here comes Caden up to the line. He goes P7. We've now got 9 drivers in the 1 minute 17s at the moment, as I think that was Gabriel Moya jumps up to P3. And there goes Car Potter to P5. He gains some places as well. I think Leggy as well, I believe, improved. I'm not 100% sure, but it's looking very interesting. Unless he is just starting his run. No, he has done a lap, but I don't think he improved. So that's some disappointment for himself there. Schumacher making his way round. I think this guy actually raced in Season 1, if I remember. But up by 0.2 of a second now. Schumacher improving by quite a bit. That over 0.2 of a second could send him up to about P6 currently. So he's got a lot of chance to do this. So let's see what he can do. With just one corner to go, he's got to find the lap time as he makes his way round. This is really where you've got to find lap time, really where you've got to improve, taking the tight line out of the final corner, using all of his battery, everything he's got. He improves by 0.4 of a second and goes to a 17.5 and within a 1/10 of a second of provisional pole. And that is exactly what he would have been wanting this evening. Caden is on his way in, Car Potter as well. I think we've got Leggy, who's also on his way in, with Gabriel Moya following along. But we've already got, I think we've got somebody else already on a lap, and that is Zach Miles. He's down by 28 thousandths in his first sector, though, so it's not gone too well for his first sector with just under 5 minutes left on the clock. He's gone for a bit of an alternative strategy, a bit of an alternative run, but let's see what he can do. Only 2 cars out on track, Schumacher and Zach Miles. Zach Miles up by a 10.5 in his middle sector, so he's going to find himself going up to about P7 in tonight's race. Now, as he makes his way down the back straight, towards the final corner he goes. Now, throwing the car through. You've got to throw everything you've got. Heading up to line. What can Zach Miles do to end his lap? What's it going to be? It's going to be a quarter of a second improvement as he jumps to a 17.6 and goes 1,000th of a second quicker than his teammate, Gabriel Moya. And what a lap that was. Schumacher on his way in, as Zach Miles will also be on his way in. Justin, now first driver to be out on an out lap for the final run. 4 minutes left on the clock. It's really all up to Justin here. You know, his teammate, 39 thousandths of a second in front of him on track. So both AZRs looking very similar in lap time. Both AZRs looking almost identical in lap time. I think it's looking very interesting for AZR. They've had a bit of a strange campaign. They're on 36 points, 7th in the Constructors. We'll ride on board with Justin, but I just want to talk about sort of AZR a little bit over this lap. Not even so much Justin's lap, but I think AZR have had a strange season. 36 points. First season in no assists. They did assist last season. They scored 77 points across their assists campaign. They've already scored more in their no assist in their assists campaign this season, but their no assist campaign hasn't gone exactly the same. I think they've faced some more struggles. I think they're facing a couple more problems this season at AZR. I think they found the competition is a bit harder this season compared to last season. 36 points so far out of the first 6 races of the season. 5 races left. The final 5 races of the season, and it's come around quite quickly as Justin is down by 21 thousandths in his middle sector, but he's still going to keep pushing all the way round. But I will say, I look at it and I go, AZR's not been bad, but I don't think they've really had a moment where they've been doing brilliant. I think it's been a lot of consistent points finishes, but occasionally they just seem to struggle. They just seem to drop outside of where they want to be. And across the line, Justin improves to P11 with a 10.5 improvement there. So not bad from himself. Got quite a few drivers on outlaps right now. We've got Alberto, who is on a flying lap. He's down by 68 thousandths in his first sector. I'm looking to who else to start the lap. I think Alberto is the next one to cross the line because his teammate is behind him. So Alberto's got to fight through some traffic. He's already having to fight through it. So we'll have to see how much this affects him on his lap. So yeah, so it's proving to be an interesting one. Sorry, everybody, I'm having to type a message. But coming up to the line, across the line, where is Alberto going to go? He improves by 10.5, and he goes to P9. So not brilliant at all. We do have, I'm trying to see who we have next. It is Marcos Guerrero. And he has slowed down, and he has given up on his lap. So he's not going to be going for it now. Antonio's in the pits. I think that's going to be him finished. As Antonio does retire, and he's the first retirement of the evening. Here comes Zach Miles. I think we got Schumacher next. Is it Robin Langenbush? No, it's not. It was, I think it was Zozo who improved by 10. I think Zozo is just starting his lap as well, so he is just starting. Ryan, Justy, and Noah haven't made it to the line, but now we have Gabriel Moira to the line. He goes P3 into a 17.5, and so that is his lap done. Leggy comes across the line. He didn't improve on his final run, so that's going to be disappointment for himself. Here comes Caden, who makes his way round. Can he make it? Can he improve? He does improve, and he goes to P8 ahead of Zozo. Not bad for himself. I think that was Maxime Wendler who crossed the line with an 18.2, and that's going to be 16th and last of the time drivers. Steve now goes slower, and that's going to be a lot of disappointment. Robin Langenbush doesn't improve on his lap. No, Raza has invalidated on his lap as well, so that's not great. There goes Marcos Guerrero to P10. So pretty solid from himself. Here comes Zach Miles. He doesn't improve in the end. He stays P5. Looking around for the next driver. Zozo has invalidated as well. So is Schumacher. He's also invalidated. The only driver left is, I think, Manolo, who's also going slowly. And Alberto. So on pole, Noah Raza takes pole position. And that is a very good pole, and it's a very good lap for himself to just set himself just less than a tenth ahead of everyone else, but very competitive grid, and still to take pole is very good to see. But this is going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen in the race now. The focus is on the race. And here is the grid. Noah Raza is on pole, followed by Schumacher, Gabriel Moya, Robin Langenbush, Zach Mars, Leggy, Carl Potter, Caden, Zozo, Marcos Guerrero, Alberto, Antonio, Justin, Manolo, Just Hood, Maxime Wendler, Steve, Ryan, Justy, and Noah. End off the grid. So very interesting. Definitely, I'd say a very interesting qualifying there. I think, you know, the last runs proved that, you know, track evolution maybe just wasn't exactly there. Which is a strange one. It's a first that I've had. It's a very strange one. I'm gonna be honest that I've had. I've not seen that before. Sort of that where the final run has not been the quickest run. It's been a while. The last time I really saw that was on F1 24. We saw that occasionally on F1 24, that the final run was, it actually became quite common in Season 4. It became quite common that the final run wasn't the fastest run, and it would be usually the middle run that would actually be the quickest on track. I think we had that in 3 or 4 races across the 10-race season. So it was quite a strange but interesting thing that we had that season. We never had that before in pretty much every single race. I think pole was quicker on the final run, unless, you know, they invalidated. So it was very strange to see that pole didn't improve on the final run, but they didn't. But I think we're seeing a lot more in this year's game as well. So maybe showing that drives are pushing a bit earlier than they used to. I think that's very much what we're seeing a lot more often than we used to see. But yeah, I think it's difficult. I'm disappointed in. I'm a bit disappointed in SDT not able to, you know, clinch the pole in the end. They weren't able to clinch pole position in the end. Same for also OMB. They seemed quite confident. But this week is rather important because we've got 4th in the championship, VRE down in 19th and last, 19th and 20th. We've got OMB pushing to catch up to the top 2. As there are 5 races left, they could still do it. You've got Ventari, who want to take the lead of the championship. SCT, who look like they're in a position to lose the championship lead out of Monza. It's looking quite interesting, I've got to say. Dry. Ethan, bro. Clinch pole. Yeah, I know. I said it wrong the first time, alright? It's clinch. I know I said it wrong. But leave me alone, bro. Leave me alone. But, yeah. I think this is where we see a couple of teams sort of move around. This grid is, I think, very different. I think we've got ESPL a bit higher up the grid than we've seen in most races this season. We've got AZR with no right qualifying, but we are getting started. And here we are. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Monza for round number 7 of FRLT season number 6. In no assists, and Noah Raza leads down into turn 1. Nobody's challenging for his lead except Schumacher down the inside there, but he pulls back anyway. And already it's a good getaway from Noah Raza. Contact between Schumacher and I believe that was Gabriel Moya, as we see a lot of overtakes happening. Caden trying to push up his places here as he tries to make the move past up into a couple positions, but we see Leggy's going back. Oh my god, absolute contact everywhere. Leggy onto the grass. Look at the cars absolutely spraying all over the grid. They're just absolutely going everywhere, cutting the corner, doing anything they can. And already a decent start from VRE as they pull themselves up a couple of places. And you can see there goes Marcos Guerrero down to P15, and Just Hood gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting and gaining a position. And it is an incredible start for some. And already we look to the race leader, who's already 6/10 off into the lead. 6.5 tenths in the lead now, already off of lap 1. And I've got to say, that is pretty good. He's allowed the chaos behind to cause everybody to go all over the place. But now we see a little bit more movement further back. Here comes Zozo, who's trying to make up the position to P6, but he hasn't been able to make it up just yet, as he still battles for these key positions, especially in the championship. But still, they will lose the championship lead due to Ventari being P2, P3. But look at this. Robin Langenbush closing and closing and closing. Down the pit straight he goes. On the brakes. Is he going to make the move? But look at that. Caden with a massive dive bomb down the inside. He tries to make the move, but there goes Leggy. He drops behind. Car Potter as well as his car ghosts as he drops down to P10 as he hit the curb in quite a strange way there, because he's just kind of almost half spun it off of the exit, losing a lot of grip, and another 2 places lost. Leggy is really struggling off of this race start as he drops down to P10, and that's another position lost as Noah Boza now is making the move for P18 past Manolo, and that's a position gained, and that is him up to P18 in this race. P17 and P18 now for VRE as they try to make their way back up into the top 13 to score points at least. They need to really do it this weekend, because honestly, if they don't get this a decent points finish, they could be seeing themselves already out of the contention for the top 3 in the Constructors' Championship. But there is always a chance, there is always a possibility of gaining a position and gaining anything. It is so unpredictable in these races. So let's have a look tyre-wise. It is mediums for almost everybody except for Justin, then for Maxine Vendler, then for Noah Boza and Ryan. Further back, that is the stops for everybody. Of course, we've got Just Hood with that 10-second time penalty as well, which does not help himself. But look at that. Whoa, little bit of lag there for Robin Langenbush. And again, there goes ghosting for Schumacher, who's just battling to stay in front of Caden and Zozo. But you can see he's actually caught up slightly to Robin Langenbush now. So it looks like it could be working out again. But we can see DRS is now enabled and anything will go. As we look further back, it looked like Leggy was going for a move on Justin, but he didn't make the move for P9 as he sticks to hold on to P10. He tries his best while he's got that AZR of Just Hood right behind him, even pushing him through the second Lesmo. This is going to prove to be interesting. Are we going to see some side-by-side action down the straight? As now, there goes Just Hood to the outside. He goes into the next corner. Whoa! And it's a big half spin for Leggy, who now drops down to P13 as race is just falling apart. It's just all just going to a pot. But we got to look further back because look at this, 3 wide. Whoa! Maxime Vendler almost taken out there by the driver of Alberto. But there he goes, up to P14. There goes Steve as well, who also makes the move and nicely makes his way up into P15 in this race, following through with Maxime Vendler. But a couple of drivers further behind, I think, are also looking for some moves. Here comes Alberto. He's trying to make the move, but he's had to stick back, and he's had to leave and not be able to attack for that position. But now he has got another 3 cars behind him, and he's got 2 raging quick Red Bulls of Justy and Noah Boza, who are most likely out of position here. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys will come up with and what they'll do. But, you know, I think for VRE, they really need to start making some positions now, because even with Just Hood's penalty, it's still only P16 and P17 after penalties. So even if there's post-race penalties from the Shoulds to other drivers, they're still probably not going to make it up inside of that top 13. Here comes Justy. He looked for the move on Alberto, but he wasn't close enough. But Alberto went a bit deep there, which might allow him to go back through. But here comes Justin down. Oh, actually, not even down the inside, around the outside. And just with pure straight line speed, gets past Car Potter for P8 in this race and up to 6 points now for himself. And that's not too bad. I think AZR will be taking those 6 points very, very nicely. And now we can see everything's going on. I think a couple of gaps have built up now. We can see Antonio is just sitting on that second gap. And we see as there goes Justy for P17. He makes his way back up. And he also, we've seen a swap there as well between Noah and Justy. Noah now pulls himself up into P16 as he's chasing the points positions. He's on those hard tyres, of course, so he's going to be going a lot longer in this race, strategy-wise. So he's got to make these tyres last. But I think he's going to be hoping he can make his way past a couple of drivers very soon. Because he's got quite a few very close in front of him. So we're going to be waiting to see what happens there. As we can just see, Antonio has dropped outside of that second and won't have DRS now. So he's very much a sitting duck. He's just going to be waiting to get overtaken very much. He might try to defend it, but I don't think there's going to be much defending from just pure straight line speed here today. You see Zozo getting ready to make some moves. He follows his teammate quite almost identical sort of moves, looking to maybe put the driver off in front between Robin Langenbush and Zozo, between Caden and Schumacher, trying to put them off. But so far, it's not being able to work mind games and not getting to anybody yet in this race. But this race is far from over. Only lap 6 of 27, 21 laps of this race still to go. Marcos Guerrero makes his way past Antonio, and so does Leggy as well. But look at this. Battle over P9, if the camera would actually come round to it. Just Hood gets in front of Car Potter by a very small amount. But Car Potter is fighting back. He's closing up quite a bit. I don't think he's going to let this move stay. But no, he does follow in behind. But that's actually allowed Marcos Guerrero to catch back up to P10 and P9 now. So it's changed a little bit. You see how sort of gaps are changing because of moves. And there goes Maxime Vendler for P13. That means DLX are both out of the points. Same as XPG and VRE. 3 teams outside of the points at the moment. So, it's, you know, I think we all know that VRE needs to start making these moves pretty soon, because Noah Boza has gone past Steve for P15, so that's a nice move. Alberto gets a 3-second time penalty, but he is P19 and won't lose any positions because of that. But still, pretty much kills his race off for any chance in the future of making some moves. But so far, I've got to say, Noah Boza making some decent moves here and there. He's gone from P20 to P15 already. As there goes Zach Miles for the lead of the race into turn 1, down the inside. Ventari take the lead once again here in FRLT. They won in Singapore. They led pretty much that entire race. I think they didn't lead for, I think, 4 laps of that 31-lap race. They led for, I think, if I remember correctly, 27 laps of the entire race. Yes, 27 laps. And they won it pretty much with ease in Singapore. And it was a very interesting race to see sort of how the tables have turned a bit, where earlier in the season it was SET who were really getting in the consistent finishes, and it was Ventari occasionally struggling, as there goes Noah Raza back into the lead of tonight's race. But you know, at the start of the season it was more SET getting the consistent finishes and Ventari kind of go up and down in the order. Most of the time, you know, one driver being inside the top 5 and the other sort of being sort of a couple of positions behind. As Steve has had a big moment and he has retired, and that is his race done. The first retirement of tonight's race, as Steve is now out of tonight's race, now of round 7 of the season. Just Hood is pitting. Zach Miles retakes the lead of the race. Just about retakes it there. Is it going to be a safety car? I don't think it is going to be a safety car, or even a virtual safety car. So, going to have to wait and see what's going to happen here. Where is everybody going to go? But that is a big mistake from Steve F1, as he fails to stay in the race. And we've seen a couple of drivers at Monza in the past crash that corner. We've seen a lot of crashes there. I think that is very much the corner where there is the most crashes in the, you know, on the track for some reason. I don't know why in FRLT we've had the most crashes ever. That is actually in my notes. So it's strange. It is rather strange and quite interesting to see. But this lot, the leading pack, aren't doing too badly. Top 8 all within a second of each other at the moment. ESPL P9, P10 in this race, but I don't think they're going to be P9, P10 for much longer. And I don't think Leggy is going to be P11 for much longer either. Justy, we're also seeing some struggles from Justy at the moment. He's dropped off over a second behind his teammate. The medium tyres, I think, very much wearing off now. But he will be under quite a bit of a threat from Manolo behind, as there goes Maxime Wendler for P11 in this race. So that's a decent move, but look at this. Maxime Wendler trying to get past Leggy, but unable to just for now. But that is allowing Noah Boza to stay in the positions. As we look, Car Potter, I think, just holding on to position for the moment. Just holding on. As long as he can, but he's 2 seconds behind P8. But it is P8, it is P9 and P10 for the ESPL duo. So I think we're going to see quite a bit of team work here to hold on to P9 and P10. I mean, it's 9 points for ESPL. They'll go to 35 points out of this evening. They will jump to 35 points, but they're going to stay, sadly, down in 8th in the Constructors because, as it stands, AERT will go up 8 points, so they'll be going up to 43 points in their championship. AZR's on 36, and they look like they're going to gain another 6 this evening. As there goes Car Potter into the pits. He knows it's time as he makes his way in. Noah Boza is getting very close to the driver of Antonio, and I think he's going to make the move on Antonio, and he does, and up to P11 goes Noah Boza in this race. That's a solid position gained. But looking to the lead, it's very much split off now. It's Gabriel Moya in 3rd. I think he's building a bit of a gap for him and his teammate. But it's 8/10 now. It was sitting at a second. It's sitting around there as Noah Raza and Zach Miles start to pull away from the rest of the grid. It's going to be quite interesting to see. It's Marcos Guerrero gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to send him down to about P12, I'd say. Possibly, at worst, it will send him down to P13, but I think it will be P12 he'll drop down to as it stands. So, You see, it's the small things that really do cause problems for drivers and teams. It's the small things, it's the small penalties, it's the small problems that just really hinder teams throughout a season. I've seen teams lose championships over one single penalty. We saw it last season. EVR got a penalty or got a few penalties across the season, and ultimately, from my calculations in assists, in no assists, they same for OMB as well. It would have been a lot closer. I think EVR would have probably won the assists championship, and OMB most likely would have won the no assist championship if they had a bit more luck. If they didn't get so many penalties across the season, I think it would go their way a lot more. But it's a risk that every team takes. Zach Miles now takes the lead of the race as we see Noah Raza down in P8 and Gabriel Moyes come into the pits along with drivers like Caden and Schumacher. In the end, Schumacher's actually gotten in front of Caden by a decent chunk, actually. The gaps have grown quite a bit. A couple of second gaps between different teams and different drivers. Just looking around. Lap 11 of 27. I think we're going to see Zach Miles pull into the pits now. Yes, he will. He's going for the hard tyre, of course, as he comes into the pits quite nicely, not wanting to get a penalty, of course, as Robin Langenbusch now comes into the pits, and it's Justin who takes the lead of the race for AZR this evening. Maxime Wendler follows, who's just about to get overtaken by Noah Boza for P2 in this race. Justy continues on his medium tyres. He's going longer on the mediums. I've got to say, strange strategy to see going this long on the mediums to lap number 12. I think we're probably going to see a pit stop this lap. As you can see, everybody stopped for hards, and only Justy on the mediums, and of course the other three old hard tyre runners. That's everybody at the moment in tonight's race. There's a yellow flag. That's Zach Miles, who's had a moment and drops down to P14. The man who was just leading this race goes down to P14. Oh my god, 3 wide. Oh, went off the track. 3 wide, catching wheels with each other. What has happened there? Oh my god. I saw Zach Miles going to the outside, but I didn't think he was going to try and send it around the outside. But he went for it. And oh my god. I have no words for what we've just seen. I'm not sure whether that was just a mistake of being a bit too aggressive, or it was just not thinking, thinking it through fully, I don't know. As Manolo gets a 3-second time penalty, we also saw Just Hood also get another 3-second time penalty. Just races Justy now pulls into the pits for his set of tyres. And now there goes, I'm not sure who just went in. That's Caden who's just gone in. It's Caden retires! Caden retires, ART. Oh my god, I think he's most likely gotten body damage from that contact. I have no clue why they went 3 wide there. I have no clue why. We've just seen what we've seen. Here comes Zach Miles down the inside. He's going to make the move this time. And he has made the move up into P11 in this race, while his teammate is up in P5. But I don't know whether, to me it just seems like he's made a mistake. And he's gone and made another mistake because of that first mistake. That's kind of how it feels to me. A bit. It kind of just feels like he's kind of made a mistake out of maybe frustration. That very much looked like he was frustrated with it. And now Manolo gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting and gaining a position. So that's not great, as Alberto gets a 3-second time penalty. And Noah Boza once again retakes P2. But everything's gotten a little bit quieter out on track. But now it's between Noah Raza and Gabriel Moya for position, for the provisional lead of the race. Yes, I can. I can show the tyres. I can be nice. It is hard tyres for everybody, and it's old hard tyres for the top 3. They're the only 3 that haven't stopped in tonight's race. as now we see Manolo retires in the pits. And another double retirement for XPG. Honestly. Oh my god. I have no words for this campaign from them. It has to be the most retirement-filled campaign I've ever seen from a team. I'm going to be honest. I've never seen a team retire so much in a season. It's very much a first. So, yeah. Just interesting. Really strange. Really, really strange. What we're seeing is Gabriel Moya now takes P4 ahead of Noah Raza for position. As we watch on, as we have surpassed the midway point of tonight's race. And now the drivers continue on to lap number 14. There's just, I think it's gone very quiet out on track because everybody's just focusing on their tyres, focusing on holding position and stuff. So nobody's going really risky except Zach Miles. But outside of that, everybody's going rather safe. Nobody's going really dangerous with their moves. As of now, you can see even there, Noah Raza for the provisional lead won't risk it too much. There goes Zach Miles for P11 as he moves up another position. He's now got a big 2-second gap to find to catch up to Leggy for P10 in this race, and then another 2 seconds. He's got 4 seconds to P9 at the moment, so he's got a long, a really big gap to close in the next 12 laps just to get to P9, but he'll be hoping he can maybe get up to P5, really catch up to his teammate in this race. But I will say, the 2 mistakes Zach Miles has made has really cost him. I'd say he's probably lost 8 seconds in this race because of his 2 mistakes. I think he's very much lost 8 seconds in this race, so, you know, he would have been leading, I think, by a big chunk in this race. I think he very much would have been leading by at least a second or 2. So it's very disappointing to see that he's not. But he is closing down on that gap between him and Leggy. 1.4 seconds, another 0.6 closer already on this lap. But we've got to look to P5 because look at Noah Raza. He's very close to Gabriel Moya for P4. And I think we're going to be seeing the move now. Using some of that battery, using the DRS, using the slipstream. This move should be really easy to make. Moves out of the slipstream and into the lead. Into the provisional lead of tonight's race. Zach Miles set the fast lap, but he's just lost P12. He's lost P11 again. Not good. Not good. That's going to hold him up quite a bit. I think possibly being a bit frustrated with being stuck where he is. He has, he's almost caught up to Leggy, so he's got the positive thing of he is catching up to other drivers. And there goes Marcos Guerrero, who's decided he wants to stay in front over this middle sector, which is quite strange. I thought we were going to see a swap there between P11 and P12. Zach Miles is obviously quite a bit quicker through the corners. He's proven that he is quite a bit faster. But no matter what, they're still going to do what they're doing. Car Potter now gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Both ESPL drivers struggling with warnings this evening. As the laps do start to count down, Maxime Wendler has now come into the pits and just Hood has crashed in the middle sector. And he's crashed, and that is a safety car. That is the safety car for this race. Now, Justin and Noah Boza are stuck out for another lap, but they've come out in front of the safety car. So, this is going to be interesting. They've come out in front of the safety car, so they're all going to be going around the same speed. And so, as it stands, by my prediction, Justin and Noah Boza will be P1, P2. This is going to be wild. I could tell you that it's going to be wild. Not a lot of changes everywhere else, but Justy up to P4 in this race. He's on 4-lap old hards. Couple of drivers going for mediums. Couple of drivers going for some fresh hard tyres. But I've got to say, pulling up to P4, Crashgate. Who knows? Who knows? I think that is a very, very big comment of Crashgate. But we saw a crash earlier there. We saw a crash with Steve, who crashed there. So I don't think we have actually seen Crashgate. I think it is just purely he's gone off and lost grip, as we saw with Steve earlier in this race. 10 laps to go when we go on to the next lap. 10 full laps of the race to go. And I've got to say, it's looking very interesting. This changes everything now. I want to see Maxime Wendler, who's quite far behind, who's going to come out in front in the pit stops. Because there goes Noah onto some fresh mediums for 10 laps. That's all he's got to do. While some others on hards. Justin's going to lead, but who's going to come out in front? Because Maxime Wendler's coming down that pit straight rather quickly. But it is going to be Justin who takes the lead of the race for AZR, followed by Noah in P2, followed by Maxime Wendler. Justy now pulls into the pits. He knows that he needs to get on. Oh, he's putting on another set of hard tyres, so he's going for more of the end of the stint than anything else. Where is he going to drop down to? He's still dropping places bit by bit. But he's dropped down to P13, but he's still in the points. He's still in the points. And at the moment, VRE, if they take this, this will be their 3rd podium of the season. And that will be, I think, a pretty big moment to get their 3rd podium of the season. That's the same amount of podiums they scored last season. In 7 races, they scored 3 podiums. And this season, 7 races, they're on their way to score 3 podiums as well. But there's a big chance for Noah here to actually win tonight's race. There's a big chance that we're going to see another VRE victory and a 3rd VRE victory of the season. Which I've got no words for at all. I don't know what to say about that. O and B haven't come out well from this. P10 and P6 and P10 only scoring 10 points, while VRE will close up further. Remember, they're only 18 points behind. VRE's only 18 points behind OMB. And so, you know, they're already taking 15 points with this. So they're already scoring 5 more points. They're going to score 6 more points to bring that down to a 12-point gap to 3rd. We are going to be going on to another lap. We are going to go on to lap number 19 under the safety car, which is just saving tyre wear for the medium runners. And all the medium runners, I will tell you now who all the medium runners are. It is Justin, Noah, Maxime Wendler, it is Schumacher, Leggy, Marcos Guerrero, and finally Alberto, all on the mediums. Only soft tyre runners is Ryan, but he's not been in this race since he disconnected. And the hard tyre runners are Noah Raza, Gabriel Moya, Zozo, Carpotter, Robin Langenbush, Zach Miles, Justy, and Antonio. So this is a very interesting moment. Which tyre choice is better? I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, which tyre choice do you think is actually better? The mediums for the last sort of 8 laps of the race, or the hard tyres for the last 8 laps? Because if I'm being honest, the mediums are probably going to get through the first 5 laps without a problem. So really, the hard tyre runners might only get 2 or 3 laps where their tyres are actually in better condition, are actually faster. So we're going to have to wait to see, because I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think we could definitely see something interesting going on here. I think we could definitely see the medium runners, I think, will easily make it to the end of their run without a problem. Ethan, you say mediums 100%. I'm for now, I am going to agree with you. From just knowledge, it's going to be the medium tyres. There's no way the other tyres, the hard tyres, are going to be better. Let's see, is it going to be a late safety car to come in? No, it's not. We are going for another lap. We are going on to lap 20 under the safety car. So we're going to get to lap 21. So we're only going to get 7 laps. We are only going to get 7 laps of racing. So the odds are just getting better and better for the medium tyre runs. Honestly, they would go till lap 25. They'd go till the end of lap 24 under safety car and just have 3 laps to push. But it's lap 20 of 27. And I think the safety car is waiting for Ryan. I do think it's waiting for Ryan to catch up. He's he is in AI mode, but it is below 10 seconds now. It is below 10 seconds, but this the AI cars are so slow, like unbelievably. But still, as you can see, it's coming down rather quickly, so it's okay. Through the corners, it's fine, but it's because he was like 50 seconds behind. We've waited a few laps, but he's catching up, and now he is at the back of the grid now. But now we're going to see, will the safety car come in? I very much think it will, as the safety car is in this lap. So Justin is going to lead the grid away. It is up to him for when he wants to go and get racing restarted here onto lap 21. Warming up his tyres, he can control the pace of the grid. He can go as quickly as he wants. He can go reasonably slowly, but again, it has to be reasonably slowly. He can't purposely just be going, he can't go like 30 or 40 kilometers an hour. He does have to go at a decent speed. I honestly feel like all the cars, I'm just waiting for somebody to hit someone with how much weaving is going on. But here comes into the final corner. There goes Justin. He's gotten a good restart off of Noah there. It's been a really good restart. He's caught Noah napping quite a bit there, but Noah's dropping his battery to stay in front of Maxime Wendler. But that is a good restart from our race leader. And now we're going to see everybody trying to make moves, trying to do everything they can. And I think we see Gabriel Moya trying to go up to P4 already in this race. Gabriel Moya on the hard tyres, but you can see Noah Raza is not letting this position go. They are still fighting for points. He's going to fight side by side into the next corner. Still going at it. Down into turn 4 and 5. But ultimately, it is Gabriel Moya who pulls up into P4 in this race. But he's already dropped almost a second to the top 3. So for Ventari, this could be incredibly disappointing. They're still on their way to get in front of... They're still on their way to gain some points on SET. But not that many in the end. As now we see the leaders starting to pull away already off of lap 21. And there goes Maxime Wendler going quite wide and actually losing quite a bit of time. We're seeing a bit of weaving from Justin. But this is what it's all about. It's all about just strategy. For these last few laps, it's just about, you know, using some intelligence, being smart about every move that you make. And this is exactly what the drivers have been practicing for. DRS is now enabled once again in tonight's race. Maxime Wendler's now dropping quite far behind, down to 8/10 behind Noah Boza and just over a second behind P1. So there are some gaps starting to open up already in this race. And we see Car Potters having a bit of a battle with Zozo and Robin Langenbush for P8 and P7 in tonight's race. SET, the championship leaders, not doing too well at the moment. Only on for 13 points. There, down the inside, goes Car Potter. He's going to take P8 again. And he wants that move. And he's made the move. And here comes Leggy as well, who also wants to move on Robin Langenbush. Robin Langenbush goes a bit wide and onto the curb. And there goes Leggy up to P9 in tonight's race. And that pushes Robin Langenbush from P8 down to P10 already. And he's now got Zach Miles behind him for company, who's also chasing position. Here he comes down the inside. Here comes Zach Miles. He's going to make his way past. He doesn't care. He wants to make the position. Whoa! Oh my God! Another crash at that corner. Oh my God. Robin Langenbush's day is ruined. All of the chance disappearing from his day. Zach Miles as well getting caught up in another incident. Another big incident as there goes Noah for the lead of the race in Monza. He's up into P1 and the lead, and that is exactly what he was looking for. Zach Miles battling for position. Marcos Guerrero now gets past Zach Miles. So in the end, pushing past for position, didn't even do anything with Robin Langenbush because he dropped a position anyway down the pit straight. So I'm not even sure where this has come from, if I'm being honest. It's very aggressive and quite strange to see. There goes Maxime Wendler, who's battling with Gabriel Moya. Oh my God! There goes Leggy flying off into the wall. Marcos Guerrero gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but Gabriel Moya has dropped over a second, and now he's at 1.2 seconds behind Justin, and he's at about 2 seconds behind the race leader with just a handful of laps to go. Here comes Schumacher. He's making his way up to P5 ahead of Noah Raza. So it really looks like OMB aren't done with today, even though there was a very big moment with Leggy further back in the lap at the start of Sector 2. As we watch Schumacher chase for position. Zozo as well, making a move on Noah Raza, going down the inside in a very smooth and comfortable move for the SET driver. Absolutely insane. Noah Boza has just set the fastest lap of the race. He sits 7/10 in front of Justin in P2. Gabriel Moya in P3. He's chasing this P2, but the problem is he sits almost 2 seconds behind with a massive line. He's got 4 cars right behind him with that DRS, and I don't think he's going to be catching up anytime soon. I think this race, with 4 laps to go, it might get very spicy into these last few laps and very toasty experience for, I think, every driver, because everybody is so close to each other. I think the top 2 very much, I think, have this sealed here. P1 and P2. I think this is going to be very simple for the top 2 in this race. Gabriel Moya, I think he's a lot of questions whether he's going to finish P3 or whether he's going to finish a lot lower. I mean, there's going to be a lot of questions as well about his teammate Zach Miles, and I think quite a few reports as well. Here comes Schumacher on Maxime Wendler for P4 in this race, and that is a position up into P4. And for OMB, this is very much championship. This is just so championship important for them at the moment. 11 points, top of the 6, 17 points, but they're still going to drop behind VRE by a few points. There goes Zozo as well, up to P5 in this race. So a very couple of moves happening here and there. And look at that, that was Maxime Wendler trying to see a sneaky move back on Zozo, but unable to, as FCT's sort of starting pace on these mediums has just completely fallen away in the last lap or two. It's just completely disappeared. So maybe some overheating going on for FCT, as they're just kind of finding themselves in the middle of nowhere for pace, and they're really struggling. Clearly some problems with the rears, as there goes Noah Raza past Maxime Wendler. So a teammate swap between the 2 FCT drivers, but Noah Boza leads by 1.4 seconds with 3 laps to go, and I don't think we're going to see a lot of changes out in the lead of this race. But I think the battle here is over for P3, because Schumacher is chasing that RB with everything he's got. He's chasing Gabriel Moya with every bit of pace and ERS he's got. And you can see the gap is at 0.6. It's closing. It's down to about half a second. So Schumacher definitely, he's shown throughout this race he's been incredibly strong on just natural straight line speed. Before DRS, before overtake, he's been incredible for straight line speed. And now you can see using a bit of battery, but using that DRS mostly to close up, closing, and closing down to 3.5 at the braking zone. So quite a few things happening there. Leggy, by the way, making his way back through, because he's already back up to P7 in this race as he's chasing P6. I think we've got to look further back, because it's Justy who's had just a bit of a battle with, I think, Alberto there to get up to P13. Back up into the points. He's chasing after Antonio for P12. There's some penalties up ahead, so he should get up to P11 after penalties, and possibly even P10 because of Zach Miles, because I very much suspect Zach Miles is going to be getting some penalties post-race. There goes Zach Miles for P10. Another position gained, but Carl Potter is 2.6 seconds down the road, and so we'll have to see how the penalties end up, how they're like in the end. But I think it's not all over yet, because I just want to point out, I don't think it's all over. Whoa! Maxime Wendler has been half spun. I think he's been half spun by Marcos Guerrero or Carpotter. I think it was Carpotter he's been spun by. So another spin. It's it's like the 3rd or 4th time in this race we've seen somebody get spun from an incident. And so chaos filled this evening, just absolute chaos everywhere. But we've got to look to the race leader just for a moment onto the final lap of the race. We thought it was going to be between FCT, OMB, then Tauri. We thought those were going to be the teams in the battle. In the end, it's turned around with a safety car, and it is going to be VRE to win for the third time this season. They won in China, they won in Australia, and they're going to win in Monza. 3 wins with 3 different drivers. Absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it before. I really have never seen any sort of race like this. All the chaos you could think of has happened. Here comes Gabriel Moya on Justin for position. And there he goes. Gabriel Moya up to P2. He's chasing the leader all he can. But I don't think he's going to be able to catch the leader in the end. But we look to the race leader, Noah Boza, coming round the final corner here in Monza. Noah will win for VRE in FRLT Season 6, round number 7 in the beautiful country of Italy. And is a 3rd win for VRE as Gabriel Moya finishes P2 and Justin gets, I believe, AZR's first podium of the season. As Noah Raza leaves the session. It's retired him, so we will have to work around that. But oh my god, what a race. What a race indeed. No words for that. Absolutely incredible all the way up to the end. Whoa. What a race. No words. Absolutely unbelievable is what we've just seen. Absolutely unbelievable. I have no words to see a team that I wasn't even in it. From last to first. By the way, that is the first time ever in FRLT we've had a driver go from 20th to 1st. First time ever. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I have no words for that. I've got to say, it's the first time we've ever seen that in FRLT. First to last. Last to first, sorry, not first to last. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Absolutely insane. But let's have a look at the grid order. Noah Boza takes all 19 points from the race. Gabriel Moya follows in 2nd. Justin is 3rd. Schumacher 4th. Zozo in 5th. Leggy in 6th. And let me just scroll through here. I know it is insanely fast, but I don't have time to say all the names. And I do apologise that I don't have time to say all of the names, and this has decided to stop working. Oh my god. I do apologise, guys. There we go. That should be working now. Apologies, everybody. I don't know why it wouldn't. It's just not working. Oh, great. I don't know why it's not working. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm not sure why this isn't working. So yeah, give me a second to fix. Oh, if everybody could just give me a second to fix this. I am trying to fix this, but this is just being very difficult. It was working a second ago. I am running this. Okay. We'll have to go with this. I do apologise. There's not a lot I can do. Yeah. Strange. Let me just quickly get rid of this for a second. Yeah, I do apologise, guys. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Let me just go back to here. I'm not sure why it's doing this. Let me fix this. Give me 2 minutes to fix this. I'm so confused. It was working like a minute ago, and now it's just not working. Oh, come on. Okay. This should be working. And this just isn't. Oh, great. I don't know. I have no clue why this isn't working. I do apologise, everybody. This has just gone all weird. Okay. That's working now. That's working. Apologies, everybody, with me having to fiddle around with the camera. I'm not sure why. Not sure why it... yes, Noah, if you'd like to join in there, because I'd love to give you an interview, of course. Yeah, apologies, guys. I'm not sure why that happened. First time in a while that's happened. I'm just gonna quickly invite everybody I can for the interviews. Gabrielle Moya. I already have this all set up, so okay. So I'll wait to see, because I'll see whether, because I usually like to do the race winner last. Usually I like to do this. I like to have the race winner interview them last, but I guess what we can do today is we can bring in Noah first. Hello, Noah. Welcome. Welcome to the interview box, and what a win! Last to first. I like I've said to you before, you sound like Max Verstappen. This is gonna get like 4 million views, this stream, because they'll be like, they got Max Verstappen driving, bro. I'm just gonna edit the hell out of it. You're gonna see a thumbnail of Max Verstappen's head on your car. You're just gonna see that. My first question is, how does it feel to win from last to first? And you are, I just want to say, you are the first driver ever to do that. Yeah. My second question for you is, when it came down to the race, like, I think it's very... I look at the race and it was very chaos filled. How did you build that gap towards the end? Because it was, how do I explain it? Like, because you all of a sudden you went from being very close to the driver behind, who was Justin, and then all of a sudden you just gained 1.5 seconds on him. How did that happen? No, at the end. Yeah. My final question for you, and this is quite it might sound like a strange question. Did you ever have in mind that you were going to go from last to first and make FRLT sound like a challenge? Like a video challenge? Strange. Jeffrey, mate, how don't you hear? How don't you hear Noah? I'm so confused. I'm so lost how you don't hear Noah. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, thank you for joining in the interview. I'll see whether we heard you or not. Otherwise, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I want you to come back and do this again. No. Yeah. But best of luck, man. And let's hopefully see you again. Yes. Bye. So we're gonna move on to the next part of this. You should be able to hear him. If you can't hear Noah, please tell me. If you couldn't hear any of that interview, please tell me. Please don't troll me. And just like, because you guys should be able to hear him. Just to make that clear, you should be able to hear him. So let's bring in the next person, Gabriel Moya. Welcome, Gabriel Moya, to the interview box. I hope you are doing well. And I'm going to ask you the first, just an easy first question. How does it feel to get P2 right on the final lap? Yeah. Mm. Throughout early in the race, you were battling for the lead, early on. What sort of happened? How I'm not sure where or what went wrong towards the end, but where sort of to some degree, why did you come out in P3? Was it just solely the safety car, or could you just not get up to pace on the hards as easily as others? Yeah. Yeah. I have one final question. In the end, sort of, how does it feel to sort of, you recovered that P3? Do you feel like it's still a good race for Ventari in the end? Compared to where you guys could have been after a couple of the incidents. Mm. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me here in the interview box. And a really good finish, P2 at the end of the day. Got that right on the final lap, right at the final chance. But good job and best of luck for yourself and Ventari. Hopefully we'll see you here again in the interview box. Nah, man, nah, I've had worse. Don't be worried. Thanks, bye. So, with that is Ventari interview. We're going to do P3 now. So let's pull everybody in, because there's 2 people waiting. Hello to both you, Justin, and Ethan. You return. Congratulations on the podium. I believe that's your first podium of the season in no assists, unless I'm just stupid and I forget everything. Yes, it is. It is your first podium. So, how do you feel after that race? You know, to come away with P3. Fair enough. I've got a question for you, Ethan. How do you feel after this race? Watching, as I saw you in the chat, watching along. How do you feel from this race weekend? Do you feel like this was a really positive thing, or do you think this is something you can build off of? Yeah, that's good to hear, because of course, you know, you guys did quite well last season in assists. I think you guys scored 77 points, and I think you guys got 4 podiums across the season. So of course, you know, you guys are doing well. You're doing very well in assists, and of course, to come over to no assists and do well here as well is just, it's something we don't really see in FRLT. It's quite rare to see a team do really well in both tiers. So very much that is good. I have one final question. When it came down to those last few laps, because of course you, Justin, you lost P2 on the final lap, a painful final lap overtake. But do both of you feel like there was possibly some wiggle room to maybe hold on to that P2, or was it just kind of, we just want to get P3, we just want to at least be on the podium? Any words on that from you, Ethan? Fair enough. Well, good job for AZR, and I think a very memorable race, I think, in FRLT for this season. Best of luck to both of you for the rest of the season. Maybe at some point you think you'll drive. Who knows? That will then be horrific. Turn 1. I'm so... You race next week and half the grid dies in turn 1. And that's just qualifying. That's the worst part. It'll be... Mate, don't ask me. I own this league. Yeah, I don't have a clue. It's Brazil. It's Brazil. Well, with that, thank you for joining for the interviews and best of luck. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. Hopefully not in the stewards report. Hopefully in the interview box. But yeah, best of luck to both of you. Thank you for joining. Bye. So with that, that is the interviews over and finished, as I get these headphones off my head finally. But that is that, guys. That is tonight's entire race. That's it. That's how it's gone. So let's just have one last look at the calendar before the end of the evening. China, we've gone through China, Austria, Imola, Great Britain, Australia, Singapore, and now Monza. Round number 7 completed. 4 races to go. Just Brazil, which comes up next week on Saturday. The dates on the left are for assists, and the dates on the right are for no assists, just to make that clear. So Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. for assists and no assists. We got Brazil, then we go to Netherlands. Yes, the Netherlands. We go to Zandvoort for round number 9. Then we go to Las Vegas for round 10 of the season before the finale takes place at Japan. I've got to say that's going to be a very interesting finale. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also click on the notification bell to know about all the content we do from shorts, streams, and videos. So make sure to go and do that. Ultimately, also before you go, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below. Same for also joining the Discord server. The link is also down below there. Also, big thanks to our affiliates, VRE in the top of your screen and Motorsport Connect, as you can see in the bottom left. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away. Leave. Maybe we're fanning the flame. So why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. You give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you a
But he's gone wide! He's going incredible!
Ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the